The EQS SUV comes in two versions, the 450 and the 580. We have the 450. It has a claimed range of 595 kilometers, a 120 kilowatt-hour battery with a usable 108.4 kilowatt-hours. It has fast charging up to 200 kilowatts, battery warranty 10 years or 250,000 kilometers. It has a four-wheel drive with an optional four-wheel turning. It has 360 horsepower and 800 newton meters of torque. It goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 6 seconds. The cargo bay in the vehicle is between 645 to 880 liters. It has 1,800 kilos of tow weight, and it's 5.12 meters long and 1.95 meters wide, and it's 1.71 meters high. The EQS SUV has a lot of standard equipment. It has 7-seater electric seat adjustments of the second row of seats. It has airmatic air suspension and adaptive suspension. It has 21-inch rims, comfort seats in artificial leather, ambient lighting that you can adjust with around 170 settings. It has a 4-way lumbar support that is actually quite good. And it has a 360-degree parking camera. It also has digital lights that has a projection function on the road ahead. It also has panoramic glass roof. It has a head-up display. It has a Burmeister surround sound system. And the stoplights at traffic junctions will display on the screen. And it has augmented reality for navigation. Me and Samuel, we charged the car up to 100%, and we wanted to see how far we could get, because it's a large battery on this car. We started from the southernmost tip of Norway.
Lindesnes Lighthouse.
Yes, and we just went straight up in the Norwegian mountains on small, narrow, bumpy roads. We didn't think about driving economically at all. We just wanted to drive like we always do, and didn't think of ending up in the same elevation and stuff like that. When people want to do a road trip, they don't think about that. So you just go, and so it was a more practical range test then. What are your expectations for the trip? That we're not going to run out of battery. I'm stranded on the mountain. That would be bad. Yeah, that will be bad. That will be bad. And at the same time, we wanted to do a review of the car. As I said, show you some amazing Norwegian nature.
Yeah, there was some very pretty places.
Yeah, it was. And the places neither you or me have been, actually.
No.
Samuel, what do you think about the infotainment system?
Or the infotainment system? Well, I think it was a bit too confusing, like the screen. It was hard to navigate if you wanted to, find where put on the massager. You had to really dig down into the infotainment system. Yeah, and you had to go like we didn't figure it out, but we had to go like into several menus, like ambient lighting, and then we find the seats there. How about Hey Mercedes? Was that the lady you talked to?
How may I help you?
Well, it's not better than Siri in any way. It has some problems recognizing your voice if you have accents.
Yeah.
and you know, you have to talk very clearly, and also, you know, sometimes the commands didn't work when we tried to say them. Like, it would be random if you got what you wanted.
Hey Mercedes,
How may I help you?
change the ambient color in the cabin to yellow.
I'm sorry. Can you say that again, please?
So overall, it was a very nice infotainment system. The touch screen worked well, and all the menus are accessible, but you have to find them.
Leather seats with air cooling and heating and massage. It was a good shape. You can actually the lumbar support.
Yeah.
You could do most of the settings, and you can actually make it a more sporty seat. You know, with more support for side support.
Yeah, they were very customizable.
Yeah. So the seats were actually very good.
Yeah, the seats, and there was also very good quality of material.
Yeah.
So it was not hard to sit on. It was actually quite soft, but it wasn't too soft. So it was kind of perfect.
Yeah, and the interior, good quality, a lot of nice materials. Yeah, talking about massage, was the massage any good?
Yeah, massage was good, but I feel like it could be a bit more, you know, intense.
Yeah. Yeah, in the Audi e-tron GT,
Yeah.
it was a little bit more intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was actually very good.
Yeah, I like the massagers in that car.
Yeah, and the car has air suspension.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the from the different modes in the car, it will have different heights, and it will adapt itself to the road conditions. What do you think about the air suspension during our ride through these narrow bumpy roads?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely noticeable that there is air suspension.
Yeah.
There's very good air suspension because even though a lot of the roads were very uneven and unkept,
Yeah.
it really didn't feel like it.
And the air quality in the car was also very good. It was a good ventilation system,
Yeah.
and we actually slept in the car. There's no camping mode for the ventilation system in the car, but we put the car in neutral,
Yeah.
and that way the car was on and the ventilation system was on. But we had to put, you know, stones and to prevent the car from rolling on the front tires and the back tires. Put down all the seats, the second row and the third row, and we put in a mattress.
Yeah. You had blankets.
A blanket, and pillows. I turned off the exterior lights manually, and the interior lights. We had a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprisingly comfortable for sleeping in the car.
I think we slept for 8 hours,
Yeah.
and we consumed around 9–10% of the battery.
Yeah.
And then we have the digital lights on the car, you know, the LED matrix lights.
In the interior?
Now the exterior.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's automatic. You can put it on automatic, or you have to put it on automatic for it to work. And the system works perfect. It cut out where the cars were coming, so they didn't get blinded. And in addition, there was this digital light thingy that you could get. You get lights on the ground, on the outside of the car, in the front, so you can see how much distance there were to the person in front. What do you think about the looks of the car?
You know, for a car that expensive, it was kind of bland.
Yeah.
There wasn't really much, you know, shape to the car. It'll just look like any other SUV
Yeah.
that you buy on the market, and
It has. You can see that it's a Mercedes.
you can see that it's a Mercedes.
But it's like, you know, it's very rounded, more conform car, more generic car.
Mhm.
It could have been a little bit more, you know, had a statement or been a little bit more masculine.
Mhm.
And then we have the interior lights. That was kind of cool feature in the car, actually.
Yeah, it was. It looked really, very pretty. It looked very, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Because
Yeah.
you have lights all around you.
yeah, and even in the back.
Yeah, and on the top, on the around you, in the footwells, and you can actually, I think it's like you can set it to like there's 170 colors you can put in, and you also have, you know, light waves you can put in,
Yeah,
and it will the ambient light will also blink if there's something that happens, emergency in the car, you know. Almost hitting a car, crossing the mid section of the car, it will blink. So it will help you stay alert,
yeah. There's also, you know, multiple colors you can have. So
especially when you're driving at night. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it, actually.
yeah,
Yeah. So the space in the car was pretty good, actually.
for a tall guy like me, you know, there's a lot of cars that, you know, make me feel uncomfortable to sit in
Yeah.
because
You're almost 2 meters.
yeah, because there's a lot of time, 9 times out of 10, there's no leg room.
Yeah.
So there's you know, not very much room for me to move, and that makes it like hard to stay in a car long.
Yeah, because you sat in the back also.
Yeah.
We put you in the back just to see how the roominess was in the back.
Yeah, I was sitting straight up, and there was actually some room left for me above
Yeah.
my head, and
Impressive, quite a lot actually.
yeah, and there's a lot of leg room for me
Yeah.
too.
And you could put your feet under the seat also.
Yeah, and that was very great.
Yeah.
So if you're tall and you have a lot of tall people, you can all place them all in the car
Yeah.
quite comfortably.
Yeah. And it's a 7-seater actually.
Yeah,
So-
it's massive.
Yeah. So you have the second row and then you have the third row. Of course, the seats in the third row are quite smaller. It's more for small persons. Not a good place to sit for a long journey. But the second row was, as we talked about, it was where you had.
Spacious.
And if you fold down the third row seats, you have a humongous area, the storage space back there. We brought, you know, sleeping mattress and put it in. It was a 120 times 210 sleeping mattress. It was no problem to putting it in there and locking all the doors. By chance, I parked next to an Audi e-tron 55, and it's taller and it's wider and it's longer.
Yeah, so it's a bit bigger than the Audi e-tron.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like it.
No.
The sound dampening in the car, Samuel. What do you think of that?
You know, it's actually pretty good. You know, it blocks out the sound from the outside, you know, the wind and the other cars quite well.
Yeah.
The only problem is if you're driving high speeds on like the highway, you can hear some sound leakage, you know.
Either on the top of the side windows or on the sunroof. I'm not sure. It's very hard to hear where the sound actually is coming from.
Yeah.
You could get fooled. But I suspect it's the sunroof. But it wasn't a big problem at all. But we could hear some sound there. This car has the most sound dampening I've ever heard. It's like it's another level. It's really quiet inside the cabin. So it's and that also makes the sound system sound better also. And it's a good place to listen to music.
Yeah.
We did a lot. We listened to a lot of music on the trip. What do you think about the sound system, Samuel?
Oh, the sound system is great.
You know, the bass, the mid-tones, the high tones.
Yeah, all of that. Very good. Especially the bass. You could really feel the bass.
When it comes to the battery,
Yeah.
it's a 120 kilowatts battery. I think it's 107 that is usable. We filled up the car 100% before we left. To be honest, we drove from Lindesnes Lighthouse. Okay, we started there, but we had to go to Lyngdal to charge up the car 100%.
Yeah.
We spent the night there,
Yeah.
and in the early morning hours, like I think I was 5 o'clock in the morning, we had charged up the car 100%.
Yeah.
Then we started from Lyngdal.
Yeah.
Then we drove up in the mountains. Target was to towards Geilo, stuff like that. But we had to see where the closest charger was at, because we couldn't be stranded by the road somewhere. So that was actually quite a risk, trying to drive this far into the Norwegian mountains, you know, far from any city. So we planned in advance the route, so we knew that we could end up somewhere close to a city, or a charger at least.
Yeah.
To Rødberg in Buskerud. We calculated that was around 440 kilometers.
That's about that.
Yeah, and then we had 11% left on the battery. It's around 500 kilometers usable practical range. If you drive very economically, you can of course achieve much better results. But we wanted to see what was the practical, real world range, extreme edition. You know, going up in these mountains and these windy, bumpy, small roads.
Yeah.
You know, and we had temperature from like 20 degrees to 1 degree. It was never freezing. It was never below zero.
No.
The temperature range was huge. Here you had to stay alert. You had to rely on that the car is good, has good handling, and can brake on a dime. The pace on these back country roads are much lower.
Yeah.
Even though you drive like a hero. If you're not driving a rally car, the pace is much lower.
Yeah.
And that means you use a lot more time to get to your destinations using these backcountry roads.
Yeah.
That has to be said also, because you have to take that into consideration when you're looking at the battery consumption also.
Yeah.
Because it's a much longer journey, so you use a lot more energy for the ventilation system.
Yeah.
Managed to get to Rødberg, charge at the supercharger there.
Yeah.
25 to 30%. It was up to 207 kilowatt. Around 65 to 70%. It dropped to 135. So the fast charging on the Mercedes is quite good, but it's not the best in class compared to Porsche Taycan and stuff like that. The energy consumption of the car is, considering it's a big, heavy SUV, it's quite economically, around 21 to 23 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers, depending on the highway or going a little bit slower back roads. It's not bad for a big, heavy car. Impressed with the range and impressed with the fast charging. So that the handling of the car, it's a very big car, even though it doesn't look like it, but it's a very big SUV. Large trunk area, it's a 7-seater. It's heavy, air suspension that helps you. It feels lower than other electric SUVs. The whole car feels more planted. Of course, it's a big, heavy SUV, so it's not a sports car, but it handles very well to be an SUV. So I was quite impressed because we drove like these windy, narrow, bumpy roads with bad asphalt, you know, cracked asphalt. It was poor visibility through corners, and you know the width of the road was like one car, and so you don't know what comes around the corner. But still, you know the braking and the handling was actually very good.
Yeah.
If you could buy a car, would you buy this car?
No.
No?
No, but that's because it's definitely a good car. I'm not saying it's a bad car at all, but if I would have bought a car, I definitely would have bought maybe a bit smaller car, because the amount of room in that car is insane. Maybe a bit too much.
Yeah.
It's an SUV, so it's expected. But maybe I would go for something a little bit.
More practical.
More practical, you know.
A little bit more sporty.
Yeah, a little bit more sporty. I'm not planning on driving that as long as we did now.
Yeah.
So I can sacrifice some space for some, maybe a car that's easier to drive.
Yeah.
And a bit more sporty looking car.
Yeah. Well, I completely understand you. For my part, as we are a big family, this car was like ideal. Really ideal for. It's a car I actually could use, and it was very highly comfortable. It was really good actually.
Yeah.
But it's very pricey.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
It's very expensive. So I think I would have gone for something that's not that expensive. But to make a final comment on the car, it was a very good car, but at that price point, it has to be a very good car.
Yeah, it's expected.
So it was no surprise. It would have been very bad if it wasn't a good car at that price point. So of course some nitpicks here and there. If we really want to go into details, like the haptic feedback buttons, the sliding. Oh God, it's much better with push buttons. Then you know what you're doing. You can feel where you are with the fingers. You can do it intuitively. Of course, you can get used to a haptic feedback button, but it's much easier with physical buttons.
Yeah.
To be honest, and but that this is just nitpicking. It's in the
grand scheme of things.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, it's a very, very good car. It's a luxury comfort car.
Yeah.
It's not a sports car.
No.
And it's an SUV, even though and it's a big SUV, even though it doesn't look it. So yeah,